Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Chapter 1 from Kitab Ar-Ruh by Ibn al-Qayyim. From one world to another. Video number 1 of the series The Soul's Journey After Death.
Then why, when the soul reaches the throat and you are helplessly watching that he is on the verge of death? And we are nearer to him than you, but you do not see.
When someone dies, the angel of death comes to take his soul, no matter where he is. The dying person sees him, hears him, and speaks to him, but not with his eyes, his ears, or his tongue. Then one may ask, how then? I do not know exactly. All I do know is that when he begins to move to another world, he sees, hears, and speaks by some means which we, the living, do not know. Many instances of this have been recorded. Ibn Abi Dunya mentions that on the day Umar bin Abdul Aziz died, he said to those with him, "Sit with me." When they sat down next to him, he started speaking, and he said, "I am the one you commanded, and I failed you. You forbade me, and I rebelled." He said this 3 times. Then he said, "But there is no God but Allah." Then he lifted his head and stared. The people asked, "You are looking very intently, Amirul Mu'mineen." He replied, "I see a presence which is neither man nor jinn." And then he died. Fadala bin Dinar said, "I was with Muhammad bin Wasi. When he was very near to death, he began to say, 'Welcome to my Lord's angels. There is no strength nor power except by Allah.' I smelled the sweetest fragrance that I had ever smelled. Then his eyes glazed over and he died." To validate the above incidences and for details and confirmation, I quote a sound hadith. The Messenger of Allah, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, he said, "When the believer is about to depart from this world and go forward into the next world, angels with faces as bright as the sun descend from the heavens and sit around him in throngs, stretching as far as the eye can see. Then the angel of death comes and sits at his head and says, 'Good soul, come out to forgiveness and pleasure from Allah.' Then his soul emerges like a drop of water flows from a water skin, and the angels take hold of it. When he has grasped it, the other angels do not leave it in his hand even for a twinkling of an eye. They take it and place it in a perfumed shroud, and a fragrance issues from it like the sweetest scent of musk found on the face of the earth." After the soul is taken, and if it is a pure soul and has relatives in the next world, who are also people of the garden, they come to meet the soul with yearning and great joy. They ask it about the condition of those who are still alive in this world. The angels then bear the soul from one heaven to another until it comes into the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Glory be to him, and may he be exalted. Then the soul returns and sees the washing of the body, and the funeral procession. It says either, take me forward, or where are you taking me? Where are you taking me? Although the people there cannot hear this. When the corpse has been placed in the grave, the soul inserts itself between the body and the shroud so that the questioning can take place. Then the soul hears the receding footsteps of the last of the people who followed the funeral, and the earth is leveled over him. The earth, however, does not prevent the angels from reaching him. Even if a stone had been hollowed out for him and he had been placed into it and the opening sealed over with lead, it would still not stop the angels from reaching him. These dense substances cannot prevent the passage of souls. They do not even stop the jinns. Allah, glory be to Him, made the stone and earth the same for the angels as air is for the birds. The grave expands and stretches for the soul, and as a result for the body as well. The body is in a grave of the narrowest dimensions, and yet it expands because of the soul as far as the eye can see. His soul is then returned to his body, and two angels come to him. They make him sit up and say to him, "Who is your Lord?" He replies, "My Lord is Allah." They ask him, "What is your religion?" He replies, "My religion is Islam." They ask him, "Who is this man who was sent amongst you?" He replies, "The messenger of Allah." They ask him, "How did you come to know about these things?" He replies, "I read the book of Allah, believed in it, and declared it to be true." Then a voice from high above declares, "My slave has spoken the truth. So spread out the carpets from the garden for him, and open a gate of the garden for him." Then some of its fragrance and perfume comes to him. His grave is expanded for him as far as the eye can see, and a man with beautiful garment and a fragrant scent comes to him and says, "Rejoice in what delights you, for this is the day which you were promised." He asks, "Who are you?" "Yours is a face which foretells good." He replies, "I am your good actions." Then he says, "O Lord, let the last hour come soon, so that I may rejoin my family and my property." When the unbeliever is to depart this world and go forward into the next world, angels with black faces descend from the heaven carrying rough hair cloth and sit around him in throngs, stretching as far as the eye can see. Then the angel of death comes and sits at the head and says, "Foul soul, come out to the wrath and anger of Allah." Then his soul divides up in his body and it is dragged out like a skewer is pulled out of wet wool. Then the angels take hold of it. When he has grasped it, the other angels do not leave it in his hands even for the twinkling of an eye. They take it and wrap it in the rough hair cloth, and a stench comes out of it like the worst stench of the corpse on the face of the earth. Then they take it up, and whenever they take it past a company of angels, they ask, "Who is this foul soul?" And the angels with the soul reply, "So and so, the son of so and so," using the worst names by which people used to call him in this world. They bring him to the lowest heaven and ask for the gate to be opened for him, it does not get opened. Then Allah Almighty registers his name in Sijjin, in the lowest earth. Then his soul is flung down.
The messenger, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, then recited, "The gates of heaven will not be opened to them, nor will they enter the garden until the camel passes through the eye of the needle."
The Prophet then recited, "Whoever associates anything with Allah, it is as though he has fallen from heaven and the birds snatch him away, or the wind sweeps him headlong into a place far away."
Allah confirms those who believe with the firm word, in the life of this world and the next world. Allah leads astray the wrongdoers, and Allah does whatever He will.
The second video number 2 of the series, The Soul's Journey After Death, to be released also in the month of July, inshallah. Video number 2, The Meaning and the Truth of Death. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulil kareem. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.